It's time for a trade and get paid. Forex forecast. It's raining pips out here.
Hey, what's up guys? Joe Giunta with Trend Trading Academy. I'm here to help you trade and get paid. I got another Forex forecast today for Sunday, June 26th, and it's going to be an interesting one, so let's jump into it. So I want to show you where we are. I'm looking at the GBPAUD 4-hour chart, and as you can see, you know, we've kind of got some sideways movement here, but some really interesting things are happening, and I want to show them to you. This sideways movement is more than just, you know, some sideways movement, really, at the end of the day. We have kind of very similar to what we had in the past, where, you know, we have this overall movement this way and we have upward movement from the bottom. So really, essentially, what we see here is, you know, we see this kind of movement, really. And from the bottom, you know, we see this kind of movement. So at some point, this stuff will end up breaking out in one way or the other. But until then, we are just going to trade what the market gives us, and we're not gonna necessarily swing trade it for long periods of time over weeks and weeks and months, but we're gonna take scalps and intraday positions as the market allows. So watch this. Let's spread this out a little bit and kind of look at where we are currently. You can see we have some structure levels right here. You know, this is a really interesting area. As you can see, if you have the TTA indicator, you can see here where, as you know, this indicator will throw these lines and give you some, we call them structure guides, and it will basically show you where there's strong supply and demand or institutional levels that are being made right there. So you can see there's a really strong level at this point right here, and price just rejected it to close the week. Now, why is that interesting? Well, when you spread this out, here's what's going on. Watch this. When you spread this out, really, it's actually super simple, right? We have a low, high, higher low, higher high, right? But within each one of those, we have structure. So we have at this low, high, higher low, higher high, we also have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, and a higher high, right? So we kind of have some movement within that initial wave. So that one extension has extension, correction, extension, correction, extension, all inside of it, right? And then when you look at this one, we have the same thing. We have a push down, up, and then down on the way back down, which is really just a pullback on the overall upward move. Then on the upside, we have a push up, down, up, down, up, down, up, right? So we have a nice upward trend right here to finish the week. We came right back down. So that's an interesting move in and of itself. And all of that together, with all of its waves in here, all of its movement up in here, right? We have really, at the end of the day, we just have a uptrend, right? So that's pretty nice. We have some good stuff happening there. But here's what's interesting. So when you look at it right here, you have this, you know, if you come from the bottom, right, and you drop this fib from the bottom to the top, look at what you have here. Look at where your golden zone is, right? And I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about from here. So when you look at that, you have a golden zone area right in here that is very interesting, because look at the structure there, and also look at the yellow candles that happened inside of that golden zone, showing you caution at that level. So this right here is a very key level. So we know we have a key level here, and we know we have a key level at the top. Okay, so that's really interesting. So we have our golden zone right here that each way, on the way up, it was tested. On the way down, it was retested. On the way back up, it was tested. And then now at our extreme high, look at where it's at, right? Now here's what's also interesting. Notice how notice where the bottom of our VDI cloud is, right? So if you look at the VDI cloud here, you look here and you see that it's just above our golden zone. Now what happens to these clouds as price moves down, right? So as price moves down, you'll see that cloud go down because that's what indicators do, right? So here's what's interesting, that if price ends up coming back, we see how it closed at the end of the week right at the top of our cloud, right at our structure level, okay? But if price does try to retest this golden zone and it comes down here, you would assume that this cloud would end up in the golden zone as well. So we have confirmation, we have confluence, right? We have things that are working together, right? And so right now, everything right now says that there's a strong possibility based on structure, based on the VDI cloud, if you have the TTA indicator, based on the golden zone, that price is very likely to pull back and get into this golden zone area, right? So here's what's awesome about that too. Watch this. When you look at this as a whole, I want you to see something here, okay? Watch this. When you look at this as a whole, and we've been talking about wave theory on my channel a lot, right? You guys watched the last couple of videos, and I'll tag them up above. That I've been talking about wave theory and wave trading because wave trading is so vital to Forex traders, right? It is so vital to Forex traders to know and understand wave theory. So if that's the case, watch this. If this plays out the way it looks like it could play out, right? Let's just say it comes there. Well, how would we know from here where it would go? Well, here's what's interesting. How do we know where to put? So I'm just going to put this here for now, right? I'll move it where it needs to go. But how do we know generally what the 4 to 5 looks like? Well, because the 1 wave is generally the same as the 4 to 5 wave, right? When we look at an Elliott Wave move, we generally see, well, we have to see essentially that the 3rd wave is the longest of all 5 waves, and that the 0 to 1 is generally similar to the 4 to 5. So if that's the case, watch this. If the 0 to 1 gave us 345 pips, let's say, well, then where do you think the 4 to 5 would lend us to go, right? It would be right around the same. Now, I want you to notice where that 345 lets out. Right at the top where I told you before. So let's watch this. So let's move that right to where that was. So let's say that ends up being the move. Watch this. Notice how it ends up right over here filling out the pattern that we started with. Guys, this is insane. This stuff is so fire. That's why I'm telling you need to learn wave theory. Because when you can understand market structure and how waves move inside of waves, guys, a couple weeks ago, I literally just told you this pattern right here. I literally told you this just a couple weeks ago. This pattern here was going to break one way or the other. And if it broke to the downside, the likelihood is that it would end up breaking back to the upside. Well, guess what happened? It broke to the downside. Now it's working its way back up because essentially that area right in here, that area right here needs to be filled out. That area needs to be filled out. So what happens? A big, strong wave to come and fill it out. Guys, this stuff is like elementary. This stuff is fire, okay? And we have multiple confirmations. We have the golden zone. We have the Elliott wave that could potentially be. We have the TTA vision directional indicator. And if you don't have that, you know, you need to go get it. You need to be a TTA member to have it until this week. It will be out this week. All right, guys. Comment below if you're excited because we're releasing the indicator to the public this week. Drop them comments below because this indicator is fire. You can see it. All right, guys. And so that is exactly what we're expecting this week. Now, does that mean that this is exactly what has to happen? No, I mean, we can see it come down and drop, right? Because patterns reject all the time. That's not, but what I'm saying is we don't trade guarantees, we trade high probability. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you that the high probability right now is that if price comes and tests this golden zone, that the next thing we're going to see is for moves to get us all the way up into this area here, somewhere between here and here. That's what I'm telling you is going to happen based on market structure. Elliott Wave, it's fire, understanding wave theory, and then on top of everything else, having the vision directional indicator to take you to that next level. That's how we're going to make money. So, guys, that's what I'm anticipating coming. That's where I think we're at for the weekend. When the market opens, we'll see more. It's possible that the market takes off to the upside. Look at where it's at. It's sitting right on structure now. So it may not get a golden zone pullback, but either way, whatever, right? It still applies. Let's say it doesn't come to the golden zone all the way, right? Let's say it rejects right from here. Does that make it any less valid? No, it doesn't make it any less valid at all. It just pushes this up a little bit, or it makes it to where since we had a shallow pullback, we have a shallow extension, right? That's normal. That's okay. What I'm telling you is we have high probability in the market right now for something like this to happen. Why? Because market structure and wave theory are telling us, plus we have confirmation and confluence when it comes to our golden zone, the TTA vision directional indicator, Elliott wave, pattern breakout, and market structure all together. Guys, that's how you trade Forex. All right, guys? So I hope this brings you a lot of value. I hope you understand that wave theory is where it's at, that understanding price action and currency strength is where it's at. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget, if you want to become a student and see more in-depth analysis, just go to trendtrading.academy. Become our student today. Don't waste no more time. It's time for you to be able to make some money the right way in the market. I'll see you next week.